Hello and welcome to Nights at the Game Table. And today I'm going to be taking you through some of our top picks for Warhammer Christmas gifts.
To keep up to date with everything at Nights at the Game Table, all you have to do is click subscribe and then hit that tiny little notification button next to it, so every time we upload a new video, YouTube will be sure to let you know.
There's a whole range of things that might appeal based on how long the person you're buying for has been playing and what your budget is. So I'm going to take you through a series of different options based on circumstances, price range, and hopefully help you find something that's ideal for the person that you are looking to buy for. First of all, let's start with a new player or someone who's curious about Warhammer and said that they really want to get into the game. Two great choices might be the First Strike box set, which costs about $40 retail, which is going to give you a small unit of Ultramarines and a small unit of Death Guard that two people can play against each other. And if you want to get straight into 40k and put two armies on the table and play against someone right away, this is probably the best pick for you, especially at this kind of price point. If you're looking for something a little bit more elaborate or more of a stepping stone into larger battles, you might look at Kill Team. Kill Team is a squad-based tactics game in the Warhammer 40k universe using the same models and about 90% of the same rule set. It also comes with a lot of terrain and sets you up nicely for having two different factions competing at a small scale. It is significantly more expensive than First Strike at $130 retail, but it gives you the option to play these squad-based tactics games, and you can expand into different armies without dropping anywhere near the amount of cost you would need to drop in order to start a full 40k army, and get a flavour for the different factions and also get some nice mats and terrain to play it on all at once. Finally, between the two, but less of a standalone thing, there are Start Collecting box sets, usually at about $85. Now, these give you a starting force with which to build your 40k or even Age of Sigmar army. And these can be a good choice for someone that's somewhat familiar with the game and wants to get started on putting an army together, or maybe even someone that's been playing for a while but has been talking about putting a new army together. That would be an ideal spot for someone to start dipping their toes into a brand new faction. For someone that's been playing a little bit longer or has already gotten started, then painting items and supplies might be a good option. We all use quite a lot of paint, and there's a variety of not only the paints themselves, but different tools and accessories that can make painting so much more pleasant and enjoyable that you should have a good think about. One point to start is the paint bundles produced by Games Workshop. There's a variety of different price points. They do them specifically for different army factions, so you get all the colors that you will need to paint up the different layers and all your different factions models. Or there's more generic sets that give you thematic or wider choices. There's also brushes, and in order to paint a variety of models and get a variety of different effects and get the different detail you want, as well as make the larger scale tasks more simple, it's important to have a variety of brushes in useful different sizes and types. You can look at the Games Workshop brush range and see maybe there's either one or two specific brushes that they're missing, or maybe an entire set if you're looking to spend a little bit more. We're particular fans of the Winsor Newton Series 7 brushes, which is a high-end miniature brush painting set for if you're aspiring to be a little bit more of an artist about what you're doing, or you're doing some really fine detail work. There are also other supplies and accessories you can look at, some of which are things that hobbyists continually need. Others are a little bit more helpful luxury or organizational items that really add a lot to the painting experience and take a bit of the pain out of it. In terms of supplies, two things that we are always running out of are glue and Nuln oil. And if you're looking for a very small gift or something to pair with a gift card, no one will ever turn their nose up at one of these. One excellent tool you might also look at is the painting handle. For about $8, I think, you get a little grip that makes it far easier to stand and manipulate a model and get underneath it without constantly touching bits that you're painting or getting very close to them. And it really adds a lot of quality of life to your painting sessions that make them so much more enjoyable and so much easier to do fine bits of detail work. From an organizational standpoint, there are various kits and boxes you can get to organize and look after your painting and hobby supplies. Particularly in the Games Workshop range, there's a paint box as well as a hobby project box, both of which allow you to organize your paints into a sort of a palette style, so you can have everything neatly organized within the case where you need it. It makes it much easier to move it around. There's also space in those for brushes and other sundry tools. Finally, there's also things like palette paper. Wet palettes are lovely tools that enable you to keep your paint wet for hours and even come back and use them the next day between sessions if you're someone that paints continually in small sessions over a long period. Or even an airbrush if you're looking to spend a little bit more. A tool that takes a little bit of looking after and a little bit of practice to get the hang of, but lets you create truly sheen and unique effects you just cannot get with a brush. Moving on from painting, if you want to enhance someone's play experience but they've already got plenty of models and plenty of paints, you might also look at terrain. Now there are some Games Workshop options, a variety of terrain pieces you can pick up, some of which have their own additional rules like the defense line pieces. Others are a bit more pretty and useful just for fluff. There's also a wide variety of third-party options you can look at, more than I could possibly list here, but if you Google wargaming terrain, 40k terrain, you'll find a wide variety of options. There's also playmats, which can make your playing area a lot more aesthetically pleasing and also sort of give you a guideline on where to put other things in between the illustrated ground features that are also very interesting to look at. Some of our favorites are made by Frontline Gaming, but there are a variety, again, of suppliers out there. And if you just look up wargaming mats, wargaming table covers, you will find a variety to choose from. If you're just not sure what your hobbyist really wants for Christmas, you cannot go far wrong with gift cards, either from your local game store or from the Games Workshop website themselves. You can pick them up and then they can order whatever it is that they want. There's also a range of books and audio books in the Black Library series that people who get into the lore or the fluff of the Warhammer universe often very much enjoy, and these can also make great gift ideas for them. Before I wrap up, I'm going to touch on just a couple of the more high-end options and a couple of the cheaper options you can also look at when choosing gifts for somebody. Right up at the high end, you can look at the super heavy Primarch type models, both from Games Workshop themselves and from Forge World, who are a Games Workshop affiliated supplier that make rare or unusual models. You can get everything from super heavy tanks to Primarch characters for the factions they've been released for, all the way through to huge knights, and at Forge World, rare super heavy aircraft and even Titan figures that can go up from a couple of hundred as high as $1,000 if you're at the very, very, very high end of the gift giving and whoever you're buying for is a very lucky person. Back down to smaller scale gifts, and particularly things that you can either give as standalone or maybe pair with a gift card if you feel that a gift card is a little impersonal and you just like to personalize it a little bit. Dice are a popular option. There are faction-specific dice for most of the Games Workshop factions, but also a selection of D6 dice. Never go amiss. You need so many six-sided dice, and invariably you lose some over time. There's also wound counters to keep track of damage on models, objective counters to mark out sections of the battlefield. All of these are great budget options that either stand alone or you can pair with a little something else just for personalization. Those are our top picks for Warhammer gift ideas. If you've enjoyed this video, then please feel free to like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you've got other gift ideas or questions about what might be the best pick for your particular hobbyist you're buying for, come join us in our Facebook chat group, Game Talk for Gamers, and let us know, and us and everyone else in there will be very happy to talk to you about different ideas. Thanks once again, and we'll catch you next time on Nights at the Game Table.